So all the explorers are running for their lives, and they get into this little cabin in the snow blizzard. And they shut the door and they sit down, they make a little fire, and they're like, we're safe, I think we're safe. And they have some food and all of that. Just then, a massive polar bear kicks the door open. It runs inside, it slams the door shut and turns around and goes, woo, it's cold out there.
Fantastic.
They just get worse and worse.
Or better and better, depending on your...
Where do you get them from, Eric? Where do you get them from?
I'm a walking compendium of comedy. Everyone thinks that's the best joke I've told all year. A walking compendium of comedy. Are we definitely? So I had some live problems this week. Are we I think we are live.
Yeah, it looks like we are.
I think we are. Yeah,
I think we are.
So hello everybody, and welcome to this week's Digital Download. And I'm the editor of this pop-up. So today we're going to be talking about why lives like this are such a powerful tool, and why you should consider doing these, why you must do these, maybe.
Ooh.
So
and we're also interested in people's feedback in terms of what they've done and you know, their experiences of lives,
and equally why they're not doing them. So should we all go around and introduce ourselves first of all? So Tim, you're in the top left-hand corner. So
thank you. Yes, I'm Tim Hughes. I'm the CEO and co-founder of DLA Ignite, and I have extremely very nice soft skin.
Very.
Yeah. As we found out from a LinkedIn Live yesterday morning.
You're glowing.
Yeah, I believe it was from a LinkedIn Live yesterday morning. Yes.
So Lorena.
Hi, I am based in Lima, Peru. I'm from Performa. This is my new brand. I am a legal marketing consultant, and I will learn a lot about my friends on lives because I follow them, I see them, but the only live I do or I have done yet is this digital download. So I think I will learn a lot.
Will.
Yeah, hello everybody. William Shorten here. So I'm an associate with DLA Ignite, and I also run my own consultancy where I'm a trainer, facilitator, and coach. And I've got a bit of a limited experience of live, so this and also one other live that I'm sure will be mentioned at some point later today, Eric. Yeah, that's me. Thanks.
Lenwood.
Hi, I'm Lenwood Ross, and I am the founder and CEO of Accelerate. I'm a partner of DLA Ignite. I run a fledgling live, so I'll be learning too, but also I'm going through the process of building a live community. So the name of my live is The Water Cooler.
Love it.
Rob.
Hi, I'm Rob Durant, founder of Flywheel Results, a proud DLA partner. And what's all this talk of live? I thought this was just a Zoom call.
How's the altitude, Rob?
You know, we've got clear skies ahead coming in for a landing. Please put your seat backs up and tray tables. Position.
And last, but by all means least, Eric.
Yes, hi, I'm Eric. I'm Eric from Crux. We are colleagues and partners with all these lovely people here, based in Aberdeen, Scotland. Well, I am from our group. Some experience of running live streams. Love it as a medium, and they're I don't know where that came from. I don't know. I'm really looking forward to the chat because I see this as a really important content media source. Fabidu.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think that the first opportunity to do lives on LinkedIn. Thank you, Andrew, and good afternoon. The first time we had the opportunity to do lives on LinkedIn was about 18 months ago or so, and it was quite interesting how it seemed to be something that was exciting and new, and we were kind of. I know that we as a team sort of dipped our toes in the water, and you've been doing the burrito, very famous LinkedIn Live, for 18 months now. We've been doing this for about a year, haven't we? Or more than a year now. And
it was July. last year.
Yeah, and Eric and I have been doing our music show on a Friday for just over a year, and Lenwood has been doing the water cooler for probably 2 months now.
No, I think a little less, but yeah. So we're new.
And it's kind of, certainly for me, I think it's quite an interesting thing to be doing, and I think that often, certainly when we train people, we try to encourage them to use video and publish content through video formats. And one of the things that seems to be an overarching situation is that people are scared of doing videos. You know, they get rabbit in the headlights syndrome when they put their camera up and they end up looking like they're scared, looking into the lens of the video camera, even though if you're shooting an offline video, obviously you can do it a million times if you have to, until you get something that you're comfortable with.
It's true.
But I think that what's interesting is that from the recipient's perspective, you know, we've all bought albums and we've all been to concerts. And even though albums are better produced, better sound quality, more polished, concerts are invariably better. And this is a similar kind of thing, isn't it? You know, when you're doing it live, when you're doing it in front of an audience, maybe you have a little bit of nerves, maybe it's the interplay from the people in the audience, but but always
Perfect timing. The interplay from the audience.
Yep.
Always, it's kind of you feel a little bit keyed up because there's potentially a large audience or an infinite audience on some of these platforms, and I think that people feel much more part of it when they're in the audience. So let's kind of unpack that a little bit. What do you think as being the issues that stop people from just embracing this and treating this in the same way they might treat a Zoom with the team or with a prospect or with an existing client?
So, Adam, when you were speaking about people being afraid of being in front of the camera, it reminded me of a line the Hulk uses in one of the latest Avenger movies. And they asked, how do you keep from being angry? And it reminded me of how I keep from being nervous, being on camera. The secret is I'm always nervous. The secret for the Hulk was he's always angry. So yeah, if you're not a little bit nervous, a little bit afraid, then you probably don't care. I'd rather have you be a little bit nervous and do it anyway, because the worst case scenario, first of all, never really comes true. And second, is never really as bad as you fear anyway. So we put the camera on and treat it like a Zoom call, and off you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to just offer a little encouragement to say that I think with every step of the content creator journey, whether that is, you know, first putting up posts, then, you know, moving to doing lives or getting on video and then doing lives, I have felt tremendous nervousness and been hesitant at every step. And I don't think that's, I think that's a natural feeling. And what happens over time is you just kind of adapt to whatever that medium is. So I think when you first start doing your posts, if you haven't done that, you got to let your posts evolve over time, find your voice and the audience that is going to respond. And the same is true for all of those other mediums.
I think they're very, very valid points. There's something about this. I run a very, very serious industry live once a month. It's very highbrow. It's about very serious industry topics in the energy sector. I also run more light-hearted, entertaining ones and more conversational ones. The key for me, I think, was I'm the same Eric in every one. I'm the same Eric in every one. And I've realized that over the years, working in businesses and working in and just being exposed to daily life, we layer on expectations of other people, and we try to live up to those expectations of other people by certainly perhaps wearing somewhat of a mask. Or a uniform. You know, I'm Eric now, but when I go live, I'm going to be strict business professional who's all about values and shareholder value, and I'll end up tripping myself up because I'm actually trying to be something else. The thunk moment for me when I realised that, and this follows through in all aspects of my business and in my personal life now, is I've realised that the only way I can pull off what I do with any credibility and with any sort of real authenticity, and I want to come back to that real authenticity. I think it's a thing these days, is just be who I am. If I meet you guys in the bar for a beer or go for a cup of coffee, it's the same guy you'll see present the very, very highbrow live show on Energy. It's the same guy you'll see on the burrito or that album or on the digital download. Because then I've got no way to trip up. I've got no way to fall over. I'm not trying to be something else.
I have a question for you, Eric.
Yeah.
What do you do if you don't know who you are?
That's a problem. Then you're going to continually pretend, and you're going to continually be nervous, and you're going to continually be jittery, and you probably won't start.
Yeah. I just, the reason why I asked that question is because I just think that there are tens of millions. I'm sad to say there are tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions of people out there that have been walking around with masks. One person at home, one person in the office, a different person with friends, and they're not sure who they are. Yeah. And so when they come to this medium and you say be authentic or be the same that's like what it's like George Costanza, worlds colliding. You know, if you remember that from Seinfeld, right?
To be,
you know, and yeah, so I think that's, you know, there's an issue that is happening inside of the person. I can't say without really thinking about it deeply whether that was the issue for me, but I certainly can think about myself in corporate America and feeling like I had to be a certain way in corporate America, and knowing that, you know, outside of corporate America, I would be a much more relaxed and dare I say gregarious person.
It's the person or the persons that write, I'm an energetic, tenacious, high results,
leading world
leading solutions person, which is that we always hide behind that that terminology, and then we get on with our own lives in the physical world.
Yeah.
And then what happens is that we have this problem because we now live in the digital world, and COVID forced us to do that through Zoom and Teams and media like this. And how do we take the person that has been able to get on and do all the things that they wanted to do in their life and work and go to meetings and sit there in meetings and say the right thing and then get on and do those things, and now they're having to transfer it to this digital world, and it's part of the evolution that's taking place in this fourth industrial revolution, isn't it?
Brilliant, Tim. And don't you think adding in that digital layer now with viewers and content consumers getting more wise, that digital will expose you more?
Yes, yeah. And you know,
sorry, Will.
Yeah, telling my story. You know, I started a podcast because I was afraid of video. And I knew that I had to do something about it because I grew up in an age where we didn't have a video camera. You know, cameras were something special. They were put in a cupboard, and every now and again we would bring them out, we would take a photo, and then it would go back in the cupboard, and then every 18 months someone would take it down to the chemists and have the photos developed. Do you remember taking that photo? No, I don't. And you know, that generation, of course, now we have mobile phones and we just file them off, you know, and so I started the podcast to get over that. And it's something that I always, you know, if for me, the only way that you can face the fear is to walk into it.
Absolutely. And that's the kind of liberating point that I was going to come to, because I mean, you know, involved in the burrito, you know, sometimes I'll come along and I'll dress up. Now, that is something I would never have done or never do when I'm in a kind of live situation. But I think it also, I do take on board that you have to be authentic, you are yourself. But I think it does also allow you, it depends on your particular starting point and what you feel comfortable with, but it also does allow you to perhaps expose in a good way a kind of different part of yourself you would normally.
Yeah, that's a great point.
But is the reason that you tackled your fears, Tim, is it because you knew you had to do it because you could see the strategic benefit of you doing that, so the logical bit of it, or is it because you had thought, okay, I just need to be brave and I need to put myself out there? Because of everybody, as we know, everybody has a fear that they themselves are not enough. You know, somehow I'm lacking as a person and people won't like me. So you either come to terms with that, not you, but one comes to terms with that, or you say, I'm going to overcome those fears because I can see that there's a potential massive benefit for me. So which of those was it for you?
Well, it's with all those, it was a bit of both, which is I could see the way that the world was going, but obviously we couldn't see the way that it's turned out because of COVID. That was a curveball that came in. We could see the trajectory, but we didn't see the acceleration. Now I think there's a lot of people that are scared because that they have seen this switch take place. You know, all of the data says that our buyers are on social media. It's you know, it's proven. We don't have to prove that anymore. Therefore, we have switched away from physical into digital, and that means a lot of people have got to catch up. And I agree with Lenwood, which is that I still believe that all the people that are writing, you know, I'm a tenacious, energetic, actually don't know what to do. They now work on Zoom calls and they now work on team calls, and that's kind of a standard. I don't know if you see, there's a thing come out from the CEO of Slack today, which is he said that we should stop having Zoom and Teams calls in offices because he said that's not what offices were built for. But I know I'm digressing. And he's true. So what we're seeing is this change, and people are starting to question the classic status quo of that physical is the only game in town.
Excuse me, are they? Because I still see, and I'm kind of playing devil's advocate here, but you know, I still see quite a lot of pushback from people that don't want to accept this. You know, not social, but this whole package of digital interactions and living your life and exposing who you are on the digital platforms.
Oh, of course, you know, when the electric light was introduced, there was a pushback because when it was introduced, that the people said, and you can have a switch on the wall, and everyone says, why would you want a switch on the wall? Well, because with gas lights, you went up to the light and you switched it on at the light. And they said, well, we can carry on switching it on at the light. We don't need a switch on the wall. That's bizarre. And now we look at that and laugh. It's the same when, you know, the quirky, everyone said when the BlackBerry, everyone had a BlackBerry, and then it was announced about the iPhone. Everyone said, we need a quirky keyboard. We don't. Yeah. And this is the things that, you know, we will always have people that say, I don't understand this, or I don't want, you know, I don't want to play football. I don't want to, or whatever it is that you don't want to do. There will always be the doubters, but the trajectory is set, and we can't battle against the technology. This isn't going away, and neither is social media.
Absolutely. But I was thinking it's though potentially is more about people, not people denying it, but people denying themselves in this.
Yes.
You know, we all know that if you go to a training session, a live training session, you learn far more than if you watch a recording of the live training session. Everybody knows that because you feel that you're part of it. You feel the presence of the other people going through the learning at the same time as you. And I don't see that this is any different, is it? we have.
No, and I've seen people. I was going through my LinkedIn feed today, and there was someone posted, here's us at the so and so event, and I'm really proud of the team.
Did they see old and new clients?
What?
Did they see great to see new clients and
great
old
to
clients?
see old and new clients? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And what it is, the post is no different from I'm a tenacious, energetic, it's a cliche.
Mm.
And what they're doing is that someone said, you need to be social. And everyone's going, well, I don't know what to do. They say, well, just put out a crummy little post about you with the team and saying it's great to meet new clients and I'm really proud of my team. It's a cliche.
Yeah.
Could we possibly take it? Something I explored with you guys know, you might be listening, Richard Urich.
Mm.
So Richard, 40 years in broadcast journalism, run radio shows, television shows, outside broadcaster, the whole lot, a proper dyed-in-the-wool, hi, I'm here today with Adam and blah, blah, blah. An absolute pro, and now teaches people in communication, which is a natural evolution of his craft. So I put it to him on a podcast. He was on our podcast, the Cruxcast, and I said, so as a proper trained, experienced, qualified, and vast history in broadcast journalism, does it pain you in any way, or does it annoy you in any way that average Joe and Joanne can just flick on LinkedIn Live and basically broadcast, or flick on a live stream channel and broadcast across Twitter? Right now we're on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, probably Twitch, and probably a couple of others. That's what we're broadcasting on right now from this little thing. Does it annoy you? And he said, no, I think it's phenomenal. I think it's absolutely brilliant. And I wonder why more people don't do it. And I mean, you think about the whole idea, even going back 5 years, the idea of the seven of us jumping on and broadcasting onto social media live, where people can interact and chat with us. I mean, it's a moon landing, right? It's a gift.
I've done, as you have done, Eric, I've done them with people in Australia, which for people not in the UK, that's a country on the other side of the world.
Yep.
And you
crisp pictures and audio.
Crisp pictures, and there's like probably a 0.2 second delay.
Yeah, maybe.
But it's just amazing technology that we can do that.
So the point is, anybody can fire up I think on from a practical perspective, if you wanted to do a LinkedIn Live, which makes sense if you want to engage with people and get conversations and connections and relationships. The fact is that there used to be 5 approved external channels, Restream that we're on just now being one of them. Our own and our fears until absolutely.
Yeah.
StreamYard is another one. I think there's another couple now. You sign up to one of those. You don't even have to pay for it. You can have a basic license, and you can sync that up with your LinkedIn account. Bish bosh, done, and you can go live that afternoon. So, getting back to that, and I think it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next few months, because I think Q1 we're going to see LinkedIn coming out with their own live internal platform, which is allegedly going to come out with some interesting viewer interface and viewer sort of experience. You're going to be able. They don't want to come out with just another Restream. They want to come out with something different. So there's going to be. I've read musings that there's going to be the ability to do live stuff on there. From your LinkedIn account, you can run polls live with your viewers. Your viewers get much more to do in this. So this might be, if we like it, it might be a better platform to go with. But they are investing millions of dollars to try and give the live presenters and the live viewers a better experience. Therefore, underlining in bold, lives are really cool and valuable. So then you think, if I was the CEO of an organization, or if I ran an institution or something like that, who runs the leading live stream for our industry and our sector? Because these lives get a lot of attention, and they have quite a long shelf life, and they're repurposable, and there's all that audience interaction stuff and all of that. And you can build what we've spoken about before, and some of our guests have spoken about before, digital communities, which to some...
And I think, and Eric, I think that you're right, which is that should be a question that should be asked at every board meeting. And the question is, who is the leading technical and commercial digital influencer in our market or vertical.
Yeah. So is LinkedIn? Is this the new LinkedIn Twitch solution? Yeah, probably. Yeah, very much so. I'm live. I'm project managing right now. Everybody can watch over my shoulder. I'm live. I'm doing it now. I'm engineering. Send me some roses. Send me some likes. But the fact is the ability to do this. So if I was the back in business and I was the managing director of a company, I would set up a live stream show, broadcast across multiple channels, with myself, our head of sales, our head of operations, head of HR, whatever it was. And every week or 2 weeks, we would do a show and we'd invite on our suppliers. We'd talk about new tech. We'd talk about, she'll come back, I'm sure. Amazon, definitely Amazon.
At the door, yeah.
At the door. Or just outside the door. We'd be talking about new technology, new policy stuff that's coming, international markets and all of that. We'd bring on clients, we'd bring on suppliers, we'd bring on, dare I say it, even competitors, new tech, just a half hour, 45-minute show every week. And that would start to build traction and people would start to get into it. Why? Because people that would be interested would say they're speaking to me about things I'm interested in, and it's conversational. They know their stuff, but they're not ramming it down my throat, and just stealing that digital air constantly.
But Eric, you can't do them because you're not a creator.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I just want to add something, and going back to what Lenwood mentioned at the very beginning about the creator journey. I think it's very important to work on that. When, for example, you spoke about the training team, and Adam, when we work with our students or whatever, we have to explain to them that there really is a creator journey you have to go through before you feel this security to, for example, broadcast that we are doing right now. I'm, for example, not in that point right now to be to arrange my own live presentation. So my journey is just maybe in the fourth stage. So I think it's important that to work on that. And then my question is, do you have information, Eric, or have you measured that these live shows have brought really more clients and more reach to your business?
100%. 100%. We should only ever really be thinking about doing any content which works for us. Now, I happen to run with I'm looking around with Will. We have a sort of light-hearted, it could be looked upon as being an entertainment show, but it's a networking show for professionals on a Thursday morning. I never designed it this way, but we must be now into the 20s of, hi Eric, I joined your show this morning. Someone told me it was really good. I had great fun. I've since gone on and looked at your profile since we connected. I wonder if you can come and talk to our management team about social selling and influence. I mean, that's a social dream right there, right?
And the other thing, because it links into what you said about community, Eric, because I'm not as high profile, I don't use this as much as you do. But, what it does is it comes back to that point about being your authentic self and getting your kind of personality across to people so that you make those connections. And then suddenly, and Andrew's on the call here with us today, if you put a post out, because you have got that sense of community, virtually every post I put out, there'll be probably at least a dozen, if not 24 people who I've met through the Big Breakfast Burrito, who will then automatically come on and like something that I put. So it really does help you to kind of, get that outreach and get that additional momentum behind posts that you're putting on the platform.
Yeah.
But
I just wanted to...
People
Oh,
get
go
to
ahead,
know
Ed.
people like you, don't they? That's the key point here. Networking and growing a community is about building trust and friendship and intimacy with this enormous 850 million strong audience that's sitting on LinkedIn. And actually what you're not looking for is to find 850 million people to phone you up to buy something. What you're looking for is people that really like you. And
I always have I always have this that I can reach out to, but which is a whole bunch of business cards.
Wow.
And in the physical world, that's what we did, wasn't it? We collected these business cards. We had some people called it a little black book, and they were all of our contacts, the people that we sold to, that were influencers, that were people that could help us, that little person somewhere that was a independent consultant and stuff like that. It's what we're doing, but this is what we do on the physical world. What you're doing, Will, is just doing this, but in the digital world.
Yeah.
You're in a digital territory.
I think
my question was because I'm always asked when, for example, I work with lawyers or with law firms and they want the results. They say, okay, we are posting, we are making a live, we are recording capsules with information, and where are the results in tangible results? So that's why but maybe they are not.
No, they are. They are 100% tangible. We just have to be seeing them as tangible. Network growth, community building might not yield company-changing results in 3 months.
Excellent.
But if we work it properly, it will.
Exactly.
Yeah, it will grow.
There's a difference, Lorena, between classic. What happens is that we walk to the market and we basically stand there when we speak to the market. This is our brochure. This is what we stand for, and that's what we've done for 30 years. Advertising is over 100 years old. It's what people have always done. Now, it depends. If you walk out and immediately do that from a podcast perspective, that's not building a community or network. It's, again, just speaking to the market like we've always done.
Yep.
So I see a lot of people. I was going through the hashtag podcast and the hashtag LinkedIn Live just this week, and there's a lot of people just talking to the market. It's not authentic. It's basically podcast brochureware.
Podcast brochureware.
So
nice word.
Yes, yeah. Remember where you heard it first.
Yep.
And that's one of the differences. What we have here, we've got Alistair Dickinson. He basically attends every week unless he's got
something more important to do,
something a bigger priority. Andrew turns up. We've got people that turn up every week, and we're blessed because of that.
Yep.
But it suffers from the same challenge that marketing and digital marketing suffer from as well. It's always the debate around attribution. Now, Eric, you're particularly aware of the contacts that you've made, the even sales that you've made that have stemmed from the breakfast burrito or any of these other social outlets. But so often when you go to a salesperson and you ask them, where did this lead come from that resulted in a sale or something, they'll never point back to, it was marketing's brochure that brought them in the door.
Relationship.
It was me. I did it. So it's always going to be a matter of attribution. If you don't have a way of tracking that, then you're never going to see the results. The only other way to track that, though, is to stop doing it and notice the decline in business. And that's the more expensive way to track it.
I might have misunderstood what you're saying, Rob, so forgive me if I did, but I think what some people are seeing is that they're stopping some of the old behaviors, right? Digital marketing behaviors, and they're seeing no impact. Meaning, right? So they stop and there's absolutely no change, meaning that what they were doing was having no effect whatsoever. When they stop doing it,
yeah. So there's a really interesting case study for that, isn't there? The mayor of Sao Paulo in Brazil, this 20 years ago, he decided that he didn't like the fact there were billboards everywhere outside, so he banned outdoor advertising in the city. So every single billboard had to be removed. Every single shop fascia that was adverts rather than the name of the shop was removed and replaced. And the output from that was that it made no difference at all to people's lives or indeed the commerce of all the businesses, unless, of course, you were in the sign production business, in which case you were in all sorts of trouble. But But I think the point is that sometimes people get stuck on this particular treadmill. And I think that the part of the challenge with doing lives is that, we rock up here, we kind of have a list of points that we want to make, and we chat around those, and we go wherever it goes. And the best lives, whether or not that's a very business focused live, so maybe a Tim talk where Tim is talking to an individual, it's going out live, and one answer begets the next question, which gets a different answer, and it goes wherever it goes. Or something like the burrito, where you rock up and you have a load of fun. It's unscripted. And the thing about that is that people engage with unscripted content. People don't engage with, as we messed around a few of these ago, there was, so welcome to the digital download.
My script, where's my script?
Yeah,
exactly.
Hello, everybody.
And people,
Other way, Tim. Other camera.
people don't turn up somewhere to have you read a brochure. They turn up for a chat. And the more conversation you can make it, the more valuable it is, and the more people feel they get to know you, and the more they get to see your expertise. Because when somebody puts a question in the questions, you have to answer it live. So when I'm speaking to an audience, I spend hours rehearsing the thing that I'm doing with the slides. That's not exciting because you can do it 1,000 times exactly the same. What's exciting is when someone puts their hand up in the audience and asks you a question that challenges you. And it's not only is that the point where you get excitement, that's the point where the audience get to see whether you really know what you're talking about.
I love that.
And that's,
Can I ask?
that's the beauty.
Can I ask Eric a question, please?
Yeah.
Because I'd like to go back to who is the leading technical, commercial, and digital influencer in your market. Explain that to us.
So it's built on the concept of the fact that there's a split happened in our universe. On this side that we all know and understand is the analog side that we all grew up in. We've got filofaxes, we've got people we know, and things work in a particular way. I hire sales reps to go out and get people on calls. I send out emails. I put adverts in, and things chug along. There's this curtain which is impenetrable, which is formed, and on the other side of that is the digital twin of our industries. There's a book forming here. I can feel it. I can feel it coming.
There's one, Eric.
There is.
So right, mate.
The digital twin is where the digital industries and sectors are in the build. Some of them are quite well formed. Some of them are in their infancy and don't even have foundations down yet. The access point to get through that curtain is through social media. And being able to use social media strategically and well enough to be able to get in there, to give you the tunnel to get in, to build within the digital twin of your sector. So who's got the tallest building? Who's got the clearest sounding voice in that digital world in your sector is the leading technical and commercial digital influencer in your sector. Who is in your sector? If you make rubber seals for cars, if you make engineering solutions for big energy projects, who are the leading technical and commercial digital influencers in your sector that are influencing that digital world? People on social, people on other forms of digital, to see you and your company as the solution to their problems. And actually, even though they've never met you, they like you because they're being influenced by you. Who are the leading company that are, when people leave schools, colleges and universities, I know where I'm going to work. I'm going to work for that company there. Why? Because I've been following them on social for 4 years. And I've never met any of them. I've never even seen their building. I've never been to the city where they're located, but I want to work there because they've influenced me to do that.
I get their values.
Get their values. I get the sense of the culture. It looks cool. I'm an investor. I'm looking across the world for investment opportunities. Where am I going to invest my money? Well, I don't know this company, but I know all about them. I know their board. I know their operational team. I know their HR manager and director and all of that. I'm going to pursue a conversation with them. Why? I would never have met them before. This digital world, it's all happened in digital. If we don't have access to get through that impenetrable digital force field, we are snookered.
And so much of that happens organically. People don't even necessarily know that they're seeking out those that they've observed for years in this space. They're just gravitating towards it. It's not even an overt action necessarily. It's just we react to what we're most familiar with.
And Eric, that was an exceptional explanation. Thank you,
Thank you.
for it. I think everyone who's listening, I thought that was awesome. So, I think for management teams, when they think about what are we going to do in terms of being competitive, right, in this digital first world, right? They recognize that there is a digital first world and they've got to compete in that world. And I think they thought for many years that that technology would be the magic bullet, that artificial intelligence is going to do it, automation is going to do it, and if we just implement these systems. And what they're starting to see, well, I don't know if they're starting to see it, but people are talking about it. We're talking about it for sure. It's not going to be the technology that differentiates you. It's
because we can all buy the tech.
Right. It's going to be your people. It's going to be your people that differentiate you. Like when you mentioned that getting to the digital twin, the way is the corridor you got to walk down is social media. The people you got to walk down that corridor with are your employees.
Yeah, totally.
And I just talked about it yesterday. I read an article, and one of the things that's come out with AI, or people are starting to see, like maybe 10 years ago, maybe a little more than that, they said, well, artificial intelligence is going to destroy 40 some million jobs. Now that artificial intelligence is being implemented in businesses, everyone's like, wait a minute, this isn't actually destroying jobs. It's eliminating some jobs, but it's creating more. And now they predict in 10 years, there are going to be 12 million more jobs because of the technology that they implemented. So I say all that to say, not that technology isn't important, but your people are so important. It's just, I can't even stress it enough. And, you gotta focus on your people and getting your people up to speed with the skills required to Lorena's point, that creator journey.
But it's not just the skills, is it? It's the belief.
Belief and skills.
It's the belief that you have something to say that the world wants to hear.
The mindset.
Yeah, totally.
And Ellen just made a comment there about us colleagues to come with talking points and just be open to participating in a chat.
Beautiful.
It's
lovely. Yeah. Let me put it up again.
Lovely way of viewing it, because ultimately you want the people in the audience that are not on the screen to be part of the conversation as well. Because the only way you build relationships is by having a chat. You don't build a relationship by reading a brochure or sitting on the receiving end of a sales pitch, only by having a conversation. And this is a platform to build those conversations in order that people get to know you and buy from you or recommend you, or you buy from them or recommend you. Because ultimately, this is all about just forging those relationships, isn't it?
And absolutely. I think it sounds so paradoxical because we are now not so close as we were before physically, but we're looking for this closeness on the digital world. Now we really want to have the conversations, to meet people on digital. So because technology helps us. So I think it's a mindset we have. When I see people on my age, I'm walking, for example, on the street. Yesterday,
25.
25, exactly. I was sitting in a cafe yesterday, the day before yesterday, having my breakfast very early in the morning, and I saw a colleague of mine walking, and I thought, oh my God, is he old? Because he walked like, really, we are not 25. and his mindset is old, and I thought, okay, now he's the managing partner of a firm, when I talked to him some time ago about this mindset, and so they don't understand, and they won't understand. It's very difficult to get really people to understand what's happening, what's going on, and to change their mindset. But we have to do that, and we have to work on it, and we have to let our fears behind us, and that. Yeah.
And
So
the whole thing.
earlier,
Sorry, Rob, carry on.
Earlier we had a comment regarding Twitch, and a few of us chuckled at that because we know Twitch is our children's generation watching other people play video games. Wait, you're not even playing the game, you're just watching
somebody, yeah.
But here's where that is great. That generation is already accustomed to simply showing up and turning on the camera and accepting whatever the feed is without all of the Hollywood spit and polish. I mean, I have a terrible background. Nobody cares. I have maybe something irrelevant to say, or maybe not. Nobody cares. It's just a matter of showing up and being a part of it. And that generation, while they're doing it in gaming right now, is going to be doing that professionally as well. So how do we penetrate that curtain? Let's look to them to show us some of these ways as well.
Can I share a story?
I really quickly, I went into my son's room before he went to university just to see how he was doing, and he was sitting. He had his big PC monitor on. He had a laptop on over here and an iPad over here, and it was the same game but 3 different versions. He was playing a game, Fortnite or something. I can't remember what it was. He was broadcasting to Twitch and watching his own feed and watching someone else play the same game.
Wow. I was going to tell a similar story. It was about my 5-year-old. So my 5-year-old started watching another little kid similar age on YouTube playing video games. So she'd watch this kid playing video games. Then she'd go watch her sister play the same video game. And she'd tell her sister, oh, you do this when you get here. Now she's not playing. She's just watching. Okay, so that's how it started. Then she started playing the game as well. And now they play the game together. Yeah. So it's analogous to that, kind of creator journey where you start by watching, right? And then you move to, helping someone else or participating with someone else. And then the next thing you know, you're on your own.
Well, it's a learning journey as well, because it's that classical kind of 70-20-10 in terms of what they talk about learning, and 70% is learning by doing, but the next 20% is by shadowing or watching somebody else and what they do, and then you're absorbing that. 10% is what you learn through kind of official training courses. Yeah. So it is a much more effective way to take that on, and then, as you say, it makes it much easier to move into that learning by doing phase, because you've built up some kind of knowledge and confidence.
Yeah.
So what advice and help can we give people? Because ultimately, we're on here, we rock up, we have a bit of fun and a bit of a chat around a loose theme. And we've equally got Lenwood's kids and Eric's son that are doing this broadcasting stuff in real time, which is, looking over my shoulder while I'm playing a video game is quite an intimate thing to be doing, and letting people into your life in that way. And they have no care or no shame about that. I don't mean shame that they should be ashamed of it, but I mean, they don't care. They're more than happy to let people in that way into their lives. But we still have a large portion of the business audience for whom that is a truly terrifying concept. They get that a live stream is more valuable than a recording because they can take questions. They get that they're very polished and they're very good at presenting things, and they're very good at talking off the cuff to their audiences, one-to-one or on stage. Yet when we go into the digital space, the fear arrives. They're genuinely scared of making a mistake, of doing something which will sit with them forever. And I think that no matter how much we downplay the risks, the first time you do a live, no one's watching. No one,
Yep.
to build an audience that rocks up and actually consumes your content takes time and effort and constant shepherding and mentoring. But people don't hear that. When you say to them, just do it, it'll be fine, they don't hear that. So what advice can we give people?
You are going to make mistakes, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can we take that from the top? And
Yeah, hang on a sec. That was the top of page 4, I think, Rob.
yeah,
It's so, I mean, it's funny that you say that you're going to make mistakes, but we're getting actually to something that's fundamentally different about the analog world and the digital world. And I mean, this is just fundamental. Experimentation is part of what we need to do in the digital world. That's whether you're being a creator on LinkedIn or some other platform, or you're building a company. You experiment, find what works, and then you build on what works. So I would say that, the best advice that I can give is that you actually don't start by just popping up with LinkedIn Live and thinking, hey, it's going to be a huge success from the first show. And that's not where you got to build that experimentation muscle, that you got to build that, oh, nobody looked at my post today. Oh, well, tomorrow's another day and another post, right? So we've got to get over that fear of failure, right? So there is a creator journey that Lorena is talking about that we have to go through. And that I think that first step is learning, being trained in I won't say the basics, but getting in a program like one of the partners at DLA Ignite offers, where you can learn how the pieces strategically, you can start doing it, and you can start going through that creator journey. I think it starts with text. It goes then to, on your own video, where you're doing it and you can re-record and get comfortable with that and do that for a little while. And then you move into the lives. I do think there is a journey.
My
And I'd
top
also
advice would
then
be, sorry, carry on, Bob.
Back to, we've all done things time, everything in life, everything that we've ever done, we've had to take a step and experiment, and some of that, we're not conscious of when we first take our first steps. If suddenly we imagine that there are all these people watching us other than our mum and dad, we wouldn't want to do that. And that goes through everything we've done, whenever we've gone into a sport or tried something else, played a musical instrument, we kind of acknowledge that there is a learning path that you have to go through in order to then start to get capable of doing whatever it is that you've chosen to do. And this is exactly the same journey. So it's not trying to necessarily show that this is something completely different. You're trying to kind of form a foundation to say, you've done this hundreds of times in lots of different fields. Okay, this is a different context, it's a different setting. But draw on some of those experiences where you had that fear first of all, you gave it a go and you got over it. And when you look back, you kind of thought, well, actually, what was all of that about? It wasn't such a big deal.
Great.
And
point.
I would say so. We have to try. We have to be authentic. We have to go beyond our fears, and we don't have to think always about what others will say or think. And that's the main point. And the thing, and what Lenwood said, really, we have to go to the process, through the process. It's not a matter of, today I'll do no, we have to learn how to do it. There is a methodology. We have to get stage by stage. We have to be also well, how do you say, lead it. I mean, there are lots of people that tell you, I can help you to go through LinkedIn and to gain, because I asked you, Eric, no? Do you have results? Do you have data? And people say, we will show you, or you will reach so much. Something is new clients. No, you have to learn, you have to be sure, you have to be yourself, and then you will really reach your objectives.
My tuppence worth would be, don't start until you've got a plan. Sit down with 3 or 4 good people that have got different personalities and bring different things to the table. Sketch out why you want to do it in the first place, why you think it would be good in your market. Sketch out the overall concept for the show. Write down 3 things that you want it to achieve. I've got 3 different things for every show that I do. For one show, the attribution is not money. That's the burrito. Actually, one of the 3 things is funetize, not monetize. It's a community builder. It's not there for clients and revenue and all of that. Other ones are for clients and connection and conversations and all of that. And they've all got a different aim. And I go back to those aims all the time. Are we meeting those aims? And I would suggest just a little thing, because the tools are easy. You click the button, you do the thing, you go live. But write out the first 3 or 4. Sketch out the first 3 or 4, what they're going to look like, because very often I've seen people jump in to do a live and I'm really excited for them. And the next week they don't come back, and the next week they don't come back because they just had one. Sketch out 3, right? Okay, we're gonna have the 3 of us. That's 5 minutes a piece. We're going to talk about this, this, and this. I've got a video to show, and I'm going to bring on John or Joanne as a bit of a guest. They're one of our suppliers with some new tech. Next one, who could we bring on? We'll bring on Trevor or Teresa, because they're great and that's cool. But we'll do something different for the third one. We'll flip it on its head and we'll do it back to front or upside down. We'll keep it fresh. Get the ideas for 3, 4, or 5 so that you're ahead of the game, and book them. I'd like you to come and do that so that you're taking the pressure off yourself. A loose, not a script. We went into this show. Number 4, don't give a prize to people who have not won before. Yeah, giving prizes to people who have not won before. Yes, spreading the love. And the last thing would be get some consistency going, because this is like a little snowball rolling downhill. Our very first burrito had 4 people watching it. 4 people. And we were chuffed.
That'd be 4 more people that watched the water cooler.
But this is like a little snowball at the top of the hill. If you quit it next week, you'll never have had more than 4 viewers. Build on it, add new stuff, refine it, put new graphics in, keep it fresh. And for me, the very last thing would be is be entertaining, not in a juggler and take my wife, not that kind of entertaining, but entertaining to the point of, if I'm going to invest half an hour, 45 minutes of an hour of my important day to watch this, it needs to be entertaining to some degree. Entertaining from a business perspective, an interest perspective, or just fun, whatever it might be. And just keep going. Be consistent. People like consistency.
I think that's a point as well, Eric. It doesn't have to be an hour, does it?
No.
If you're nervous, you can talk for 20 minutes. That's fine. Like you said, you've got 3 people who each speak for 5 minutes and a guest for 5. Piece of cake.
Yeah. And go with it, and then link back and say, we said we wanted to do this to try and bring people in our sector to watch this show. What's the evidence showing? Well, we've been running it now for 4 weeks, and there's a bit of a spike. There's 60% more people are now watching it in our sector, or nothing's happening. Sometimes you've got to be willing to say, this ain't working. Let's just scrap it, or tweak it, or change it, or whatever. And move and evolve. And don't be the same as everybody else. Try and bring a bit of something unique to it that people say, I've never seen anything like this before. It doesn't have to be super cool or refined, but something different, and a different angle.
Yeah, brilliant.
Great learnings there for everybody.
Absolutely.
Do you want to close out, Alan?
Yeah, I was going to talk about, has anyone got anything fun that they've seen in the last week? But we're at time, aren't we? So we can save that. Thank you all. Sorry?
Wearing good moisturiser in the morning.
Wearing good moisturiser really helps.
Yes. So for those of you in the audience that didn't catch this, in yesterday's big live breakfast burrito, which is Eric's Thursday morning show, Tim was a surprise guest, and he was doing his beauty regime first thing in the morning. So it was one of those things, and Eric said, "Did you catch that?" So I went back and looked again and watched it, and it's worth spending a few minutes just.
It is. Our first feature is Breakfast Cam, because we've got some malware for Restream. and we can turn our viewers' cameras on that are watching the show immediately to catch them eating breakfast and watching the show. And we caught Tim yesterday. First of all, it was a newspaper, and then when he moved the newspaper and realised he was live on the show, he had his beauty mask on and he had his cup of tea.
So that links beautifully back to the very first comment on the on today's stream.
It does. It does look a bit like Mrs. Doubtfire, actually, Andrew. Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Doubtfire.
Lovely.
It was a drive-by fruiting.
So
are we done?
We are. Thank you all very much indeed. Everyone on the show today.
Hi.
Tim, Lorena, Eric, Lenwood, Will, and Rob. Thank you for everybody in the audience. Alistair, Vanessa, Andrew, all of you.
Ellen.
Ellen.
Indeed, Ellen. Thank you for those that didn't. Thank you for coming. Those that didn't put comments and things in. And everybody, give it a try. You'll love it.
Thanks.